Well, hello again, friends, family, and shipmates. Welcome to the Culture of Excellence brief for the month of July. I come to you today from the beautiful city of Hyannis, Massachusetts on Cape Cod, a garden spot for vacationers who are looking for a chance to get away. And the location kind of inspired my topic for today, as we're going to talk about planning for that summer vacation. Now, for some people, coming to someplace like Cape Cod is the perfect vacation. You get a nice cottage, you've got a beach, although the water temperature at 64 degrees is a little chilly for my Florida style. You've got tons of fancy restaurants to eat at, great things to do, wonderful place to relax. For some people, cottage at the beach, perfect vacation. For some people, a vacation involves an airline flight. That's normally followed by about a week of complaining about your airline flight. Those people make those of us who are in the charter aviation business very happy. For some people, vacation is one of those fancy RVs that you see. Some of those things are way nicer than my house. And people just love driving those. We see them all the time down there in Florida. Some people, vacation is a cruise. Now, I love cruising. I just have to avoid thinking of a cruise as 6,000 people stuck on an ocean in a petri dish for germs. It's gotten a little harder since COVID came. For some people, vacation is a tent in the wilderness. I don't understand those people. Sorry, I just don't. If you're one of them, my apologies. My kind of vacation is now an airplane ride to a nice condo on a beach someplace. Taking it one day at a time, getting up, having breakfast, and saying, what are we going to do today? That's how I relax and have fun. Now, growing up, my father always made sure that we had a summer vacation. He always wanted us to go someplace. My family had some winners of summer vacations. There was the year that we rented a nice little cottage. Turned out that there were rattlesnakes in the backyard and a major highway in the front yard. We wound up not staying at that cottage and instead found some farm that we could stay at for the week and play with the horses and the cows and the pigs and all of that stuff. And when you're 9 years old, it was a lot of fun. Then there was the year that my father decided we were going to go tent camping. He borrowed a tent from someone and forgot the poles. It's very difficult to put up a tent without the poles. So my father went down to the local hardware store, and being the ingenious guy that he is, he bought a bunch of 2x2s and some nails. And then he came back and he put a nail in the end of the 2x2 and stuck that nail through the hole, and he got the four corners of the tent to stand up straight so you could actually get in the tent and you could actually sleep in the tent. That theory worked fine until it started to rain, because the actual poles would have brought the center of the tent to a higher peak so the rainwater could drain off. But we didn't have that center pole, so the water just kind of came in, and it wasn't exactly the best vacation ever. Perhaps that's why I hate camping and don't understand people who do it. There was also the year we went on a ski trip. When we got to the airport, we were notified that the flight we had booked several months ago had been canceled several months ago. We didn't have a flight. Well, we finally got to our destination, only to discover that our rental van had been given away, but they were able to give us a compact car. We had 5 people, skis, ski boots, all our regular baggage, and we had to fit it all in a compact car with no roof rack. Somehow we managed to do it. I think the skis were pointing all over the place. And then when we finally got to our place and we had our nice vacation, it was insanely cold. Well below zero for most of the time we were there. And even though you're like a little cold when you're skiing, well below zero is not what I had in mind. Not a winner. When I grew up, turned into an adult, and went off to do my own thing, I didn't have immediate success with vacation either. When my wife Mary and I got married, we went on a cruise. We booked a nice cabin. Turned out it had twin beds. Not exactly what you had in mind for your honeymoon cruise. But since that time, things have improved. I've gotten better at vacation, And we've had much more success as a family, and my wife and I, now that the kids are gone, we have had much more success in our vacations. When the kids were growing up in Michigan, we took the quintessential vacation trip to the West. This was not Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's Vacation. I tell you, it went off well. I got all the kids involved. We picked the hotels, we picked the tours we wanted to do, we picked the routes that we wanted to take. It was going to be 12 days of just perfection, and it really came off very successful. I did learn if you go out to the Grand Canyon, go to the North Rim, not the South Rim. The North Rim, much more attractive, much fewer crowds, much harder to get to, but much better than going to the South Rim. The trip was absolutely perfect until my oldest son, Jimmy, threw up in the parking lot of the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, which is still a great time to get a laugh out of the family whenever the city of St. Louis comes up for anything. There were countless Florida trips, a Hawaii trip, even 2 trips when my wife came to Cuba to visit me when I was down at Gitmo on deployment. Pretty much none of the problems you hear on TV. Pretty much everything has gone the way that we wanted it to. For all of us, vacations are things that we anticipate and we look forward to. They're times to relax, times to rejuvenate, time to rebuild relationships, time to spend with our kids and now with our grandkids. Special experiences. We take tons and tons of pictures and have tons and tons of memories. Vacations are an awesome thing. But vacations don't happen accidentally. They happen because we have a plan. Now today, we have Google and we have Apple and we have everything we need on a phone, including recording this video today. It's much easier than it used to be when you wanted to plan a vacation. I had AAA TripTiks. Now, most of you are going to have to go ask your parents what those are, but there were maps that would line out your trip for you page by page and help you to flip over. You flip from one page to the next as you made your progress, helped you to tell you which roads you were supposed to take on your journey. We had to really guess when it came to hotels and activities, which ones are going to be good or which ones are going to be bad, because we couldn't just go on to Google or TripAdvisor or something and find 9,000 reviews that tells us this is what we should do or shouldn't do or when we should do it or when we shouldn't do it. We didn't have that. We had to sit in the traffic backups because we didn't have Waze to tell us how to get around them. But we still managed to plan. We still managed to have an awful lot of fun. That's the way it is with most successes in life. They rarely just happen. Most successes come after months or years of planning or preparation or practice. Athletes train for years to get to the highest level of their sport. No one has ever picked up a javelin for the first time, tossed it, and qualified for the Olympics. No one that I know of has ever picked up a football for the first time, thrown it, and discovered he's in the Super Bowl. No one picks up a baseball and can immediately throw a 90-mile-an-hour slider. It just doesn't happen in sport. And it doesn't happen in our careers either. No one walks into an office on the first day of new hire orientation and is escorted to the corner office to serve as the CEO. No. We all start someplace down lower, and we plan, and we practice, and we practice, and we move up in the world. The achievements of life, whether it's a 7-day vacation or a 2 or 3 career, take planning, they take practice, and they take dedication. And that's really what I want to talk about today. There's a quote we've all heard before. It's credited most of the time to Winston Churchill. I don't know if he said it or not. Those who fail to plan to fail. And in that spirit, here are a couple of reminders for you. A public service announcement for those of you who have not been doing any planning. I would like you all to know that Christmas is in December this year. That's 5 months from now. And so if you plan on doing any Christmas spending, you may want to think about putting some money aside for it, because otherwise you're going to be spending or paying for Christmas 22 well into 23. For those of you who are in the Navy, enlisted folks, there is an advancement exam coming up. I'm guessing it's probably August or September. Have you looked at the bibliography items that are provided for you to help on that exam? I got to tell you, I've never understood the numerous, countless Navy enlisted folks who show up for that exam having not cracked a book at all, and then they wonder why they're in E4 forever. It's pretty simple. Parents, here's a reminder for you. Your children would like to go to college someday, and college is not cheap, and it's not getting any cheaper. They might like your assistance, and you might be able to help them if you put some money aside now. And for all of us, you would like to join me in retirement someday. You would like to be sitting at home waiting for the Navy to send you the check. You'd like to be sitting at home waiting to get that 401k or IRA deduction or contribution back in the form of a nice check at retirement time. The only way that happens is if you plan. That means making sacrifices sometimes. If you're going to help pay for your kid to go to college, you're going to have to set that money aside, and that means you can't spend it now. If you're going to put money aside for retirement, that means you can't spend it now. And for some of this generation, that's a challenge. They have this thing called YOLO. You only live once. And I certainly hope that some of you young people watching this are impressed by the fact that I knew what YOLO was. For some people, their short-term joy is all they're worried about. But that short-term joy is going to lead to long-term disaster more times than not. I know a pilot who's got that YOLO attitude. He always is living and spending for the next job with the next big paycheck instead of the paycheck that he has now. He was flying for one of the second-rate cargo companies, big airplanes, doing okay, making some good money. He had been there for 5 years or so, and so he'd moved his way up. So he decided to buy a boat. Well, of course, when you buy a boat, the next thing you have to buy is a truck in order to pull the boat. And then I'm not sure how it connects to the truck and the boat, but he also bought himself a Corvette. He didn't have the money for any of them. It was all on credit. But he says to me, you only live once. Well, then he got a chance to go from his second-rate cargo company to one of the major U.S. passenger airlines. But for the first year, his pay is going to be cut by about 40%. That's the way the airlines still do it. First year, you don't make a ton of money. He called me up for advice. How am I supposed to take this big pay cut? Now, I knew the correct answer. Sell the boat, sell the truck, sell a Corvette. But I also knew that answer was not going to go over very well with him. He still wants to live for today. And I can't convince him otherwise. Well, for the next year, today is going to be a very difficult place for him to be. And when it's difficult for you financially, it puts a lot of stress on your health, on your relationships, and everything else. YOLO is really good for today. But if you hope and expect to have a long life, if you hope and expect to be around to see your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, YOLO is not a plan for success. Now, I'm not trying to ruin the day of everybody who's watching me. If I do that, you'll never come back and watch again. I'm not trying to say you can't have anything nice until you're as old as I am. I just want to say there's limits. There's realities. And there's a means to an end that actually works. So you want to have a great vacation? You want to have a great Christmas? You want to have a great college experience for your kids? You want to have a great retirement? How do you get the boat? How do you get the truck? How do you get the Corvette so that they're a blessing rather than a burden? It's one little 4-letter word. Plan. The Navy certainly seems to have this down. We do a lot of planning in the Navy, don't we? How many planning meetings are held before those big exercises that happen every couple of years? It goes on for months, literally, when we're planning those big exercises. How many times do we rehearse events that we hope are never going to happen? We plan for good things, but we also have to plan for bad things. You and I both know we do an awful lot of active shooter drills. We hope and pray that it doesn't happen, but we plan for it going to happen so that we're ready. Those of you who have been on ships know about the damage control drills. I've never done one on a ship, but I've done one in the trainer. And they do them over and over and over again so that if a ship is damaged, if a ship is taking on water, everybody on the ship knows what their role is and knows what they're supposed to do. In the military, we play war games at the highest levels of the military. Our leaders are thinking about how we are going to react to whatever we think the enemy might do. At lower levels, we think of simple things that might cause great controversy and get on the news, which we never want to do. When I was at Guantanamo Bay, we did a tabletop review of what to do if a detainee died every 3 months. I did that review 3 times in the time that I was there, in the deployment I was there. We never used it. Nobody ever died. But if we needed it, the Navy made sure that everybody knew their role so that we would be able to handle this without any big controversy, without being on the national news, without any problems for the Navy. That's planning. That's our way of guaranteeing success. That's our way of getting to where we want to be. Our history of over 200 years has taught us that the best way to achieve excellence is to plan. And when we deviate from the plan, that's when bad things happen. Remember the first Top Gun movie? You all saw the new one, I hope. But the first Top Gun movie, early in the movie, just after they get to Top Gun, they're up there flying, and Viper is up there against Maverick. And Maverick wants Viper. So as they're flying along, Maverick decides to leave his wingman to go and chase Viper. But that wasn't part of the plan. And at the end of it, Maverick's instructor says to him, "That was some of the best flying I've seen yet. Right up till the time you got killed. You don't ever leave your wingman." He learned his lesson. He learned that all of this planning has a purpose, that all of these rules and practices and procedures have a purpose, and that purpose is to accomplish the ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal might be what's best for everybody, not just for one moment or for one person. He learned his lesson, and in the climactic scene at the end of that first movie, he keeps saying, "I am not leaving my wingman." His rear is yelling at him that the enemy is about to come up behind him. He's going to get a good shot on him. But he said, "I am not leaving my wingman." And they were successful, and they shot down the enemy. Of course they did. It's Maverick. Remember Hunt for Red October? It's another movie I've talked about before, I know. Fred Dalton Thompson played the captain of the carrier. And Alec Baldwin, the CIA agent, gets on the carrier and he says that he needs to get to this submarine because he wants the captain wants to defect. And Fred Dalton Thompson says to him in his Tennessee twang, "What's his plan?" Alex Baldwin responds, "His plan?" Fred Dalton Thompson says, "Son, a Russian don't take a dump without a plan." The key to success for Alec Baldwin was figuring out what that plan was. To figure out what Captain Marco Ramius was going to do on that submarine. And once he figured that out, he was able to respond to it and be successful. Planning and knowing the plan and following the plan was the key to success. Remember the Battle of Midway? The movie, not the actual battle. I'm not that old. I don't remember the battle, okay? But I do remember the movie that came out about it. One of the reasons that the Japanese lost that battle was they kept changing their plan. Did they put torpedoes on the airplanes, looking for the fleet? Do they put bombs on the airplanes, trying to finish the job on Midway? They couldn't decide, and they kept going back and forth. And they take the planes and they put them back down, and they take the torpedoes off and they put the bombs back on, and they bring them back up onto the deck. Oh, no, wait, hold it. We think we found the ships. We better go down, change it back to torpedoes. It kept going on for hours. And what happened? Well, when the Navy fleet found them and our planes got there, the Japanese were caught with decks full of explosives that helped put 4 of their carriers at the bottom of the sea because they didn't follow the plan. It's that simple. Now, does that mean you can't have any spontaneity in your life? No, not at all. But even spontaneous moments should be part of a plan. So how do we do this? Let's say you have jobs you need to do around the house. We all do. I know that I do. Well, write each of the jobs on a slip of paper, throw the slips of paper into the job jar. When it's time to do a job, you reach in and you pick one out. And that's the job you do first. They all have to get done eventually, but that's a good way to do it. You have fun things you want to do with your significant other? Well, write all of them on slips of paper and put them in the fun jar. Whichever one gets picked first is the one that you do next Saturday. Spontaneity, that's still part of a plan. How about this one? You want a movie date? Head to the multiplex there and go see whatever movie starts next. That's going to broaden your horizons. You're not going to just keep seeing Top Gun over and over again. You're going to see something different. Maybe you're going to learn something. Maybe you're going to find out there's some other genre that you really enjoy. Give it a try someday. The success to a Navy career, a civilian career, a marriage, success as a parent, or as a human being, though, is always to have some kind of a plan. You can sit there all day and say you want to do great on the next physical fitness test if you're one of my Navy friends, but you're not going to unless you develop and follow a training plan. You want to graduate from college in order to improve your career? Well, you need to develop a plan that's going to make that happen, taking into account your time, your money, your other obligations, so that you don't get in over your head and have to back out. You want to look better on the beach at your next vacation? Well, you need to find a realistic diet plan that's going to help you lose that extra weight. My wife tells me that that's my plan. We just started the planning for our next beach vacation, and she's telling me that I need to be a little bit less of me by the time we get there. You want to have better relationships? You want your marriage to be the best version of the marriage that it could possibly be? You need to plan for that too. Maybe you need to ask your pastor or a counselor to help you to make that plan work as well. Everything that we do in life is going to be better if we take the time and we take the effort to do just a little bit of planning. Planning sounds so simple, and sometimes it is. But here's the thing. Planning actually works. And it doesn't mean we can't have fun. We can still have fun and plan. We can still achieve everything that we want to achieve. And we can achieve so much more if we plan together. If we work towards one goal, if we say, okay, this is what we want to accomplish. This is what we would like to do. This is where we want to be. Sit down with your significant other and make sure that you're on the same page of the program. Where do you want to be when you retire? How do you want to be dealing with grandkids? How do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend your time going and visiting those little rugrats and enjoying watching them grow up? Or do you want to spend a tour in Europe and seeing sights that you've never seen before? Either one is fine. Just figure it out. Find the plan and work on it together. Because you know what? If we want to see a culture of excellence surround us in all aspects of our lives, there definitely needs to be a plan. So my plan for the summer vacation is to plan. And I hope that everybody who's watching here today, I hope and pray that all of you are going to be successful in your hopes and your dreams and in your plans. I hope that you take the time in order to get things right. I hope you come to the understanding that everything that is invaluable in our lives takes a little work and a little effort, and it rarely shows up to us the first day. I hope you will take the time to be the best version of yourself and to have the best successes you can possibly have in life. And if at any point I can help point you in the right direction, or give you some encouragement along the way, or pick you up if you've fallen down, I'm just a phone call away. So I hope you enjoy wherever you might be today. I don't get to stay in Hyannis very long. I'm here for work and I leave again in a couple of hours. But I know that wherever I go, I'm going to be happy because I've planned for a successful life. I've planned for successful relationships. I've planned for a successful career. And God has blessed me in many, many ways, and it's all going in the right direction. I hope you find that same success. And I hope you have a tremendous month. I hope everything goes great for you. And I look forward to your feedback, and I look forward to seeing you again in August. God bless everybody.